Hello. Okay, I have a story to tell you. So I went this afternoon. Um, so how do I'm trying to make this not too long. Um, when I was on home assignment and traveling around to all the churches in Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia, for a year, one of the churches, the Alliance churches I went to in Rockville, Maryland, there was this, at that time, there was this lady who's been on staff there. She's essentially she was essentially the assistant pastor, but up until a year ago, the Alliance didn't call women pastors, but she is now in like a role at like in New York at a district office, and blah blah blah. Anyways, this lady was there working on staff at this church, and her name is Jen. She'd been there, she's probably like in her 50s. She's been there for like almost, I think she had been there for like 12 or 15 years. Like she had been at that church for a while. And we talked a lot, and she's a single woman, and so we just talked a lot about like what it's like to be a single woman in ministry, blah blah blah. That has nothing to do with anything, but we went to coffee. Anyways, she has been to Japan maybe once or twice, and then apparently there's like a number of Japanese people in that area. So have had a few Japanese people who like go to their church. Apparently there was this one lady who back in the day used to go there, or she became a Christian kind of through their church, and so did her husband. But she's been back living in Japan for, I don't know, since like 2013 or something like that. This lady named Miwa. So this Jen lady and Miwa are friends because, she used to go to their church when she lived in America, and she, so they've just kept in touch throughout the years. I think they're probably about the same age. And Jen messaged me like a week or two ago saying, this lady named Miwa is going to be in Sendai visiting a friend, and I told her that there was an Alliance missionary there, so like she would love to meet up with you if you have time to hang out. So we today, me, her, and her friend who she's staying with and came to visit, had coffee. And I don't think her friend is a Christian, but her friend also for 2 years, I think, lived in the same place in Maryland. So they met in Maryland, but they're both Japanese people and now back living in Japan, but like on opposite ends of of Japan. So she had to like take an airplane to get here. But her friend lives like maybe 15 or 20 minutes from where I live. The story that I want to get to right now is that this lady Miwa, who's a Christian, she's a very strong Christian, and I could tell like she was very like much wanting to share her testimony to like a lot of people, and which is very rare. I feel like most Japanese Christians do not share their faith, which might be why there's so few Christians here, but I could just tell like her faith was really strong, and I could tell she also was like really wanting her friend to become a Christian, but and I'm pretty sure her friend sounded Christian. I should have asked her, "Are you a Christian?" But I didn't know if that was okay or not, or how since I just met her, but I should have probably asked her. Anyways, Miwa, the Christian lady, she was sharing her her testimony with me, and her friend was sitting right there. But her friend and her are like really good friend, like really close friends, it sounds like. Her part of her story, not her, I wouldn't say this is like, yeah. I don't know in relation to like when she became a Christian versus, I can't remember. I don't remember all the details. But she had ovarian cancer, and she had to get surgery once or twice. She had to have surgery. I think this was before she became a Christian, yeah. But, oh yes, it was, because she said part of the reason that she became a Christian was because she kept seeing all these miracles that God had very clearly orchestrated for on her behalf. And so that's what part of what opened her up. But anyways, one of the things she said to me was, yeah, I had ovarian cancer. And then she said, and God, it became crazy the amount of like rainbows I would see, and God just kept showing me rainbows all the time. And she said, for a while it was like, now I can't remember all the details, and that's bothering me. But she said she would see a rainbow like almost all the time, and man, now I'm like really butchering the story. But again, she's not a Christian at that point, but she's seeing all these rainbows, and she knows that they represent the promises of God. And she becomes like kind of obsessed with rainbow, like seeing rainbows. And so I guess she talked about it a lot to like one of her friends, or to many of her friends. And so she said that, sorry, if you can see things in my glasses, it's my YouTube is on because I have a little like the little fireplace thing on. But sorry, I'm really butchering the story. She sees all these rainbows, like seems like almost every single day. And one day she said, I really was looking for a rainbow. I wanted to see a rainbow because I forget why. I don't even remember if that was like the day of her surgery or what it was. I don't think that was it, but I don't remember why. There was one particular day that she was like, oh, I just really hope that again today I see a rainbow, when she was going through this cancer treatment. And she said, and I didn't see a rainbow, but my friend, I had a different friend, who randomly sent me an email, and in the email it was a picture of a rainbow. And I was just like, what? And so she was like, and then she was like, I asked her, like, why did you send me this picture of a rainbow? Because I couldn't believe that yet again there was a rainbow, even though it was just like on my screen. And her friend was like, well, because you're always talking about rainbows. So I saw a rainbow in the sky, and so I took a picture of it. But then after I took the picture, it disappeared. But I wanted to send it to you. So anyways, as she's telling me these things about rainbows, I just start crying. I was like tearing up. And I think they could tell I was tearing up because it looked like they started tearing up when I was just like, that's really crazy, because this is very like basically the same thing happened to me like earlier this week about like the whole like wanting to see a rainbow. And I was like, and I actually prayed and asked the Lord to like help me see a rainbow, and then I got an email with a rainbow in it, and she was like, well, it's like the same story. Anyways, I was just like, I drove away from that time being like, man, Lord, like, I feel like it's about to be a similar situation where, like, I'm gonna, or you, like, whether he wants to give them to me or you or both of us, I don't know, like, hopefully both of us, that'd be fun. but like even with this thing, which I bought those command hooks, because I don't think there's a way to really hang up in the window or on my door, but I hung one of them in my from my bedroom window on. There is like a little kind of latch on there, but those windows are kind of like not frosted, but like I don't know what you would call it, but you can't see through the windows. My bedroom window, there's only one, but so I feel like it might, a lot of like in the afternoon light will come through, but I don't know if it will be like strong enough, since it's kind of, you know, to make light shine on this. But I'm gonna be on the lookout. But through these doors, in this room and then the room next to me where my dining room and kitchen are, the light shines in the morning. The afternoon it shines on my bedroom side of the apartment. But yeah, so I can't wait to get I ordered from Amazon, of course, because why not, the little command hooks, so they should be here in the next day or two, but I cannot wait. So anyways, yeah, again with the rainbow, it's just, I feel like the Lord, yeah, there was something else I was gonna say. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was thinking, like, as I was driving home, I was thinking, God, I feel like because of that story, like, I mean, some people could say like, oh yeah, it's just a coincidence. She had, all of a sudden you're like I never think about rainbows. It's just literally been since I read that story about Noah, which was, I don't remember when I sent you that the day that I prayed for a rainbow, but it's like all of a sudden between that, reading that scripture and praying for a rainbow, and then the God answering through an email, and then you sending me this, and then that story today, it's like all of a sudden this week, I feel like, man, it feels like God's gonna just start. I mean, he has already started, but I feel like it's gonna continue this whole rainbow thing. So I might start, if I see rainbows, I'm gonna start sending them to you, because I feel like what I was thinking on the way home is like, this is for me personally. Like, you're the one who's like going through this. So like, yeah, it's different, I'm sure. But for me personally, I feel like I can't really question anymore. Because I feel like I keep like being like, really, God? And then it's just like he keeps continuing to show. And I know it's like, if I question, it's not like he's like so disappointed, but I think, yeah, I think I'm just, okay, last thing, sorry, this is getting long, as it always does. Last thing I'll say, and this might actually take a while to say, because I feel like, oh man, I should have brought I have like a million Bibles and I don't have one next to me. That one's just New Testament, so I could get up and get one, but I will try to summarize this. This morning, not in Genesis, but I was thinking, for whatever reason, I started thinking about, there's a story, you know, I think it's in 2 Samuel. I read it this morning after I thought about it. I had to look up where it was. It's either in 1 or 2 Samuel, where Jonathan, there's like Jonathan and his armor bearer. You know the story? Where like there's a bunch of Philistines encamped like across from the Israelites. Is it the Israelites? I think. Saul and Jonathan and their army. The Philistines are encamped like near them or something. Sorry, I'm like butchering the story. They're like on two different hills. And in the middle of the night, Jonathan says to his armor bearer, like, I want to go up and see if we can take these people. Even though there's 600 men with Saul's army, Jonathan's like, hey, the two of us, let's go see if we can like basically take on the Philistines and get rid of them, kind of. And he says, this is what he says. He says something like, we'll go show that we're here, the two of us. And if they see us and say, stay where you are, we're going to come and we're going to get you, then we know, okay, we should stay where we are. And then, yeah, I don't know what they would have done then. And then he said, but if they say, come here, come to us, then we know that God's going to fight on our behalf and we will win. And if they want us to come and fight with them where they are, and we'll climb up there and we will fight them. And so, of course, they go and then they show themselves across the hill or whatever, and the Philistines are like, come on up, like, and then it says in this, I think this is so funny, they say, come on us up and we'll teach you a lesson. They're like trying to trash talk. And I don't know how many people, it doesn't say how many people were with the Philistines, but it does say that Jonathan is like, okay, we got this. That's the sign. Which I thought, like, really? Like, did God tell him? Like, it doesn't say if God said, this is the sign. It just says Jonathan was like, okay, if they say this, then we shouldn't go. If they say this, then we will, like, we know that that's God's sign that we should fight them and that we'll win, the two of us, against this army. And it was like, I thought about it and I was like, man, if I was in that situation and they're like, oh, come on up, we'll teach you a lesson, I think I would, instead of being like Jonathan, be like, okay, that's the sign, we got this, I might be like, wait, did I hear God correctly? Or was that me who came up with that sign? Is this actually God? Like, I would have, like, I don't know how clear God was to Jonathan, or if it was just like Jonathan was like, God, do this if this happens, and do this if this happens. Like, I have no idea. But obviously they ended up killing like a large number of, it says 20 Philistines. I don't know how many were with them. And then the rest scattered. So they were like 2 men against who knows how many. But they got rid of them. They beat them. The fact that 2 men killed 20 men is still impressive, but the fact that they effectively got rid of an entire army just by the 2 of them going confidently into this encampment, the enemy's encampment. They literally went there. They climbed, which means they were probably weaker because it says they climbed up to them. And then they fought them. And then, I don't know. That story, I was really thinking about it this morning. I don't know why it even came to my mind. And then I read it after I figured out where it was. And Google. Thanks, Google. But it just made me think, like, man, he went confidently, feeling like, okay, this is the Lord's sign to us. And yet here I am. I mean, it's not quite, it's not the exact same situation. I'm not like literally taking my life into my hands by doing this, but it is. I mean, yeah, I'm fighting for you to live. And thankfully, I do believe and trust that the Lord has given so many signs and so many promises, I believe, that He's going to heal you. And I just think, man, how kind. Like, it's just like, it feels like every step the Lord just like continues to affirm this. And so I don't know if this is, I hope, I can't say for sure, but I hope that I won't question. I might still, because I know, like, you know, if that, who knows what the results of the next, of these tests will be, but I just want to be confident that the Lord is saying what He keeps saying, which is He's got this, and He sees us, and He's mostly you, sees you. But it's so sweet to like be part of this and feel like, man, God is giving, like, over and over again, giving signs and affirming promises. And I don't even want to keep saying like it seems like He's promising, because I want to just trust that these are promises from God, because I don't know what else they could be. I don't. And while I am not God and I do not have control over the situation, I do want to just do the only thing I can do and trust and pray. And go confidently, like Jonathan did, like be like, okay, we've got this, because God, that was a sign that we're gonna kill all these Philistines because they said, come up here. And that was the sign. God gave us the sign, so we're good. He's gonna win it. And we just gotta go. And He'll do the rest, you know, kind of thing. And I'm just like, I want to be confident and not make things up. I don't want to pretend like like certain things are promises, like He's promised certain things if He hasn't. But I feel like He has. And so I want to be confident in the way, in just like the, how do I say this? Not confident in myself, but confident in the way that the Lord speaks to both of us and through other people, and in the signs and different things that He's given, and just be like, okay, that's the sign. We got this. Like, I don't know. I'm saying we as if I'm the one that's going through this, but I feel like I am. I'm not. You're obviously going through the pain. But yeah. I also love that scripture, because that is one of my, I just love that, like, armor bearer. We don't even know his name, but like the fact that he's like, Jonathan's like, hey, I think we should go do this. Like just you and me, like we won't wake the other men up, or even let my dad, the king, who's also here, know about this. But I think the two of us, let's go over there and let's deal with these Philistines. Let's just take them, because I feel like God is calling us to do that. Like, he didn't say exactly that, but that's essentially what he was saying. And his armor bearer is like, all right, I'm with you. What does he say? Do all that's in your heart. I'm with you, heart and soul, or something like that. Or heart. Yeah, I'm with you, heart and soul, or something like that. And I'm just like, wow. that's a loyal armor bearer. Like, he's literally like that loyalty of like, I'll die for you, kind of a thing. And I want to be that in prayer, you know? I know it's less of like I'm not literally walking into a physical battle, but I love that metaphor of like, I love metaphors in general, as you know. I love I would say currently what I can think of, there might be more that I'm missing, but the my two favorite metaphors in the Bible are of that sheep and shepherd relationship, and just how God is our shepherd, we are his sheep, and there's just like that tender, sweet relationship. We listen to his voice, we follow him, and it's like we can't do anything for ourselves, we just have to trust him. But also, I love the metaphor of like, we're in this battle, and like, we are in it for the king, and like, we're with him heart and soul, and like, no turning back. And like, also like, for the kingdom, we're gonna fight to the death, whatever that means. And also, part of what that means is fighting for people to get into the kingdom, and then for our brothers and sisters who are like in the battle with the enemy, like helping them be freed from whatever that is, whether it's like spiritual oppression, physical healing, all the things. And I've shared all this with you before, so none of this is new information, but I think those things get me like hyped up of like, let's do this kind of a thing. I'm like, come on. I love it. I think that's why, yeah, I don't know. I love fighting for people, especially in prayer. And I love, yeah, I don't know. I love it. But anyways, sorry I've taken a half an hour of your day, but those are my thoughts. The title of this will have to be Rainbows and Warriors. I don't know. Maybe that's a working title, but I love you, and I'm praying for you. And I know that part of the battle also is the waiting, and the mental battle is a huge, huge, huge part of it. And so just praying for all that. Praying for Allie to be completely healed. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, that her cold would go away, and that you guys would have a sweet weekend together, all of you. And maybe some more apple donuts, or I don't know, something Christmassy. Anyways, that's all. Okay, bye.